everyone. Today we're going to be answering the question, why did my crown come off?
We have sort of a problem here.
This is Dr. Tamisha Denis, and this is The Modern Smile. So sometimes a patient will come in and they will have a crown that has actually come off. If you've ever had a crown, you know a crown is basically a covering for a tooth, or we also call it cap. But let's say, for example, you've had a crown done. For some reason, maybe you were eating something or maybe you weren't, and then the crown comes off. When someone comes in and they say, Dr. Denis, my crown has come off, I always think about what are the different reasons that a crown can come off.
But how do you know about them?
Elementary, my dear Watson.
There are many reasons that a crown can go off. We are going to go from the most benign reasons or the no big deal reasons all the way up to the that's a really big deal reason.
It's time to press on.
Let's start with the first no big deal reason. Let's say you had a crown recently put on, and when you had the crown put on, maybe some saliva or some water got into the cement and loosened the bond of the cement, and the crown just came off. When a crown like that comes off, what you'll see if you flip the inside of the crown is the crown will just be hollow. There'll be nothing inside of the crown, maybe a little white for the lining of the cement. Your tooth looks pretty good if you look in your mouth, and that's one of the good things that we want to see. In that case, normally if you go to your dentist who recently put on that crown, they'll clean up the tooth, make sure it stays really nice and dry, and then they'll just put new cement on that and put that back on. So that's one of the simple reasons crowns come off. It just comes off, nothing even particular happened. The second reason, or one of the other reasons that crowns will come off, is that you had something sticky to eat. So there are a lot of really great candies that are really sticky. One of them is like Laffy Taffy. One of them is maybe like a Twizzler or a caramel, or Now and Later is a really good one. But all of those candies have this really kind of gooey, sticky, kind of stringy feeling. And what will happen is you'll bite on your crown and then you pull it and pop that crown right back off. Now, if that happens, same condition as the first time, you look inside the crown, it's pretty hollow and clean, you don't have any pain. When you go back to your dentist, they should be able to put some new cement on, keep it nice and dry, and put it right back on. Now, one of the other reasons, remember we're getting from less serious to more serious. One of the other reasons a crown will come off is maybe you're flossing your teeth, you floss your teeth and you get under the corner of a crown and you catch it, and maybe you go up and you pop, you love that noise, right? You pop that crown right off. Now, that is one of the more middle reasons that we don't like crowns to come off. We call that an open margin, and that just means when the crown sits on the tooth, we want it to be nice and sealed, nothing to get under. And if we have a situation where you can kind of catch the corner of that crown and kind of go into that corner all the time, then that's an issue, because eventually stuff will get stuck in there, food will get stuck in there, and corner, you're eventually going to not only pop the tooth out, but you're going to get food stuck in and around the tooth, and then you'll get a cavity, and now you must have that crown replaced. So let's say, for example, you pop the crown out because you're flossing and you have an open margin, and then you go to the dentist, maybe they try the crown back on, they look at the x-ray and they see there's a little opening there. That's one of those situations, even though it doesn't hurt at all, then you need to have that crown replaced. So that means that you're going to need a new crown. That's not just one of those scenarios where you put some new cement in and you put the tooth back on. So another way is sometimes when they're doing the exam and they'll see that little opening on the side, that open margin, then they're going to encourage you, your dentist is going to encourage you to change that crown out, even though it's never come off and you don't have a problem. So that's one of those situations where you need a new crown. Now, the next situation is if your crown comes off and now you have a piece of your tooth or piece of the filling or the buildup they place inside of the tooth now in the crown. Now you flip that crown over, you look inside, and inside is like some big chunky stuff. It's not just a hollow thing. There's pieces of either your tooth or the filling they put in the tooth when you had the crown done inside of the crown. Now in that case, that crown may still be repairable, meaning the dentist may be able to fix the piece of the filling that came out and then put your crown back on. But if a piece of your tooth comes out into the crown, that's another situation where you might need the crown redone. Now, of course, we're getting into the more serious. Now, the most serious is a lot of times I'll have people who, when they had the crown done originally, the tooth was pretty bad. So when it was that bad, what happened is the dentist did a lot of work, maybe a root canal, maybe a post, maybe all of these things to fix the tooth. And then when the crown comes off, inside the crown is filled with your tooth. And also, if you look in your mouth, the tooth is flat to the gum, or there's not that much sitting out, or whatever's sticking out is all rotted. Now in that case, when your crown comes off, there is nothing that we can do to help you at that point. There is something we can do to help you, but that does not include putting your crown back onto your teeth. I have people come in all the time and they say to me, Dr. Denis, can you just put my bridge back on? Can you just put my crown back on? And I cannot. There is nothing to put on. I will be putting it on gums, and I cannot stick a crown to gums. So at that point is a time where we have decided that that tooth is no more, and maybe you have to pull that tooth. And that's usually when we start to talk about dental implants, depending on the position of the tooth and what else is going on in that way. So that is all the many different reasons that crowns come off, from the least serious to the most serious. And you can do this self-evaluation at home. You have to go back to the dentist, but you can do this self-evaluation and look and say, oh my goodness, all my tooth is inside the crown. This is what they're gonna tell me. Or this looks pretty good. Let's see what the dentist, but you have to use the dentist's discretion, because in the end, what they want is for you to have a healthy tooth, and that even if you say you just want to put it back on, they want you to be able to keep that tooth long term. So this has been Dr. Tamisha Denis, and this is The Modern Smile. I hope you learned something about when your crown comes off, what does that mean? And it can give you a little preview so you don't go quite so scared into the dental office knowing what the dentist might tell you. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel, and also to give a thumbs up to this video if you like the information that you received. Thank you for watching.